Divorce is not a game of checkers. It's chess. And you need to think ahead. The strongest people in chess, the strongest players, anticipate moves. But in the divorce world, you need someone wise to guide you. You want an experienced attorney to help you through this, to help you think more like a chess master or grandmaster than just, some kids playing, checkers. Hi, I'm Corey Shapiro. This is the Getting Divorced Without Losing Your Mind podcast. Probably feeling overwhelmed with your divorce. Well, if you are, you're in the right place, because I want to help you through your divorce with less panic and more wisdom. I want you to consider these podcasts my weekly coaching sessions for you. In my day job, I'm a divorce attorney in New York City, and I help people through difficult challenges. And I'm here to help you through your challenges as best I can on this podcast. Now, something I want to talk about today that comes up often, and it is the pressure to say yes when you want to say no. And you know what I'm talking about? That pressure to say yes when you want to say no. Now, when people pressure you to say yes, you have to realize it may not be good for you. And that's the key, because I want to focus on you, not the other side. If they're pressuring you, there has to be a reason. Why are they pressuring you? Now, let me give you an example how this works, and it may resonate with you. Let's say you're a mother and you have, or a parent, and you want primary custody because that's what you've been doing for all these years. That's what you want. And the other side, the other parent, really wasn't so active, maybe loving in their own way, but they deferred to you. And that's just the way it was. And as a divorce starts, they want to change things up. They want 50-50. And you're not accepting that because you believe and you are the better parent. But your attorney may be pressuring you for 50-50. The court may be pressuring you. And your only salvation may be having the children involved in this divorce, which you really don't want. But on the other hand, you know you should be the primary parent. So you're forced into that situation. And they make you feel so bad that you're doing that. But then you have what we call a forensic examination. This is how a court can determine who is the better parent and make these types of decisions. And maybe after all this time, feeling pressure to settle for 50-50, the forensic finally comes back. And that could take over a year in this limbo situation. It makes it really hard, especially if you're living together. And the forensic finally validates a lot of your concerns and recommends that you should be the primary parent. Now, that's the hard way of doing things. And that's the pressure you might feel to say yes to 50-50. Really don't want to say. You want to say no. Doesn't work for me, doesn't work for the children. It's not in their best interests. And then I want you to take a step back here and think, divorce is not a game of checkers, especially divorce when you're in litigation or in court, even in more high-stakes negotiations. It's chess. And you need to think ahead. The strongest people in chess, the strongest players, anticipate moves. Now, not like me, I'm just get really reactive in chess. I play that blitz chess and I can't even play anymore because I get too addictive. But in the divorce world, you need someone wise to guide you. You have these weekly sessions. You might have also your attorney. You want an experienced attorney to help you through this, to help you think more like a chess master or grandmaster than just, some kids playing, checkers. And there's just a lot of reaction. So let me give you the first step in changing this dynamic and becoming more wise and not feeling so bad where you want to say no. And there's power in no. So here's a safety phrase. Those safety words where you're supposed to stop doing something? I've come up with a safety phrase. That's all you have to remember. So when you're overwhelmed, you have pressure, maybe limited capacity, it happens to me like when I lose my iPhone, and I say lose in quotes because literally if I don't know where it is for like 10 seconds, I get all panicky. And my wife says she waits 1 minute before she says anything. And at that point, I usually find it. But in that minute, I'm just stressed. I have limited capacity. I'm panicking. I'm overwhelmed. So in those situations, when you're like that, I want you to think of this phrase. If it's something to review, an agreement, or just even a short agreement, I need time to review this. Oh yeah, they'll pressure you in court anytime they can, just to, oh, this is not so difficult, just sign this. No, I need time to review this. And if it's something to think about, I need time to think about. The advance extra, like the extra credit, would be just giving them a time when you get back to them, a specific time. So I need time to review this. I'll get back to you next week by Friday. I need to think about this. Let me get back to you tomorrow and a day. Oh, doesn't that feel so much better? Isn't that pressure just coming off? Why does it work so well? Well, when this fire alarm is going off in your head, when I lose my cell, or I think I'm losing my iPhone, it's like a reset button. Those reset buttons at home in your carbon monoxide, alarm, just reset it. Everything's fine. I want you to hit that button. Think of that safety phrase. And remember, you're not being difficult. You're not being difficult. I know it's hard. A lot of people put other people's needs first, and that's how people get into trouble. You're putting yourself first. You're putting your children's needs first, not the other side. So you're not being difficult at all when you resist, if your position is reasonable. And if that's something you want, to check in some validation on, talk to your attorney, get a second opinion. Make sure what you're fighting for is reasonable. And then hold on. Hold on to that pressure and remember that safety phrase. All right, let me get you into this reset question. It's going to help you really absorb this material. That's the point. When I read books, I love, when they end with either summaries or questions to think about. So let's just take a moment to think about this reset question. What could saying no make possible for me? Well, think about what you're saying yes to. When you say no to something, what are you saying yes to? It could be yes to more support if they give you a low maintenance or alimony, depending on how you call that in your state. It could be a parenting plan that's more in line with what you think the children really need and deserve. So think about what you're saying yes to when you're saying no. It's options. All right, now, you're also doing all this, checking in, because we're working on our divorce. We're being tactical. We're being wise, even with this limited capacity. So I'm giving you, when you're panicking, overwhelmed, it's like, oh, I got so little focus, like when I'm losing my iPhone. But what can I remember? It's like, okay, give yourself a minute, or give yourself this safety phrase. That's going to help you. So all you have to remember is the safety phrase, and then you're moving on. You're moving on to a better place. And that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you move to your post-divorce life. I'm going to pull you there. You're going to get through this. I'm Corey Shapiro. This is a Getting Divorced Without Losing Your Mind podcast, helping you become more creative and less reactive in your divorce.
Thank you for tuning in to the Getting Divorced Without Losing Your Mind podcast. We would love to hear your feedback. Send Corey an email to feedback@gettingdivorced.org. And if you've read his book, please consider leaving an Amazon review. This podcast offers general information only. It cannot replace legal advice. If you need tailored advice, contact an attorney licensed to practice in your area.